group will be talking on League of Nations, and the group member are Pratapurna, Uken Kazan, Sangingidup, Kiladawa, Tujuangmu, Nimayangzum, and Kilepenju. And we will be mainly talking on the history of League of Nations and its aims and objectives, terms and conditions, and its achievement, its success and failure, and at the end we'll be talking about the legacy of League of Nations. Under League of Nations, saying YouTube and I will be presenting on the history of League of Nations, and we will be mainly focusing on 5W, that are what, when, where, why, and who. And I will be presenting on what is meant by League of Nations and when was League of Nations signed or formed. What is meant by League of Nations? League of Nations was an international organization that was formed after the Paris Peace Conference. The League of Nations was the first worldwide intergovernmental organization whose principal mission was to maintain world peace. The official language of League of Nations are French, English, and Spanish. When was League of Nations formed? League of Nations was formed on 10 January 1912 following the Paris Peace Conference at the end of First World War.
Now I'll be talking about where, why, and who. Where was the first League of Nations held? Where was the first meeting and the first assembly of League of Nations held? The League of Nations was first held in Geneva, that is in Switzerland, and it was held without United States of America, and it was held on 15 November 1920. During 1920s, the League, with its headquarters in Geneva, they included new members and successfully solved minor international disputes, but it was, however, disregarded by the major powers. Now, why? Why was League of Nations formed? What were the reasons for the formation of League of Nations? Firstly, League of Nations was created after the First World War to provide a forum for resolving international disputes, and it was designed to solve future international conflicts through diplomacy and disarmament of military. And it was also formed in order to prevent war through collective security, and lastly, it was formed in order to improve global welfare. Now, who? Who were the members of League of Nations? Basically, the League of Nations began with 4 permanent members, that are Great Britain, France, Italy, and Japan, and 4 non-permanent members that were elected by the Assembly for a 3-year terms. The first non-permanent members were Belgium, Brazil, Greece, and Spain.
Good morning, class. Now I'm going to take you through the aims and objectives of the League of Nations. One of the primary aims of the League of Nations was to promote international cooperation and to achieve peace and security. They believed that all the different nations and countries in the world should be in peace, and they highly believed in world peace. It was formed for resolving international disputes by preventing future war through collective security, disarmament, settling disputes between countries through negotiation and diplomacy, and improving global welfare. The third aim of the League was to improve the life and jobs of the people around the world. The objectives of the League of Nations are: number 1, to preserve peace and security in the world. Number 2, to settle international conflicts in a peaceful manner. Number 3, to promote just and honorable relations among the nations of the world. Number 4, to enforce its members not to resort to war. Number 5, to formulate plans for the reduction of armaments. Number 6, to take economic and military actions against any country. Number 7, to improve labor and social conditions in different countries.
Terms and conditions. The League goal included disarmament, preventing war through collective security, settling disputes between countries through negotiation, diplomacy, and improving global welfare. The United Nations organization replaced it after World War II and inherited a number of agencies and organizations funded by the League. The four major propositions are collective security, abbreviation, economic and social cooperation, reduction of armaments, and open diplomacy. Other major points are: number one, freedom of conscience and religion; number two, the maintenance of public order and moral; number three, prohibition of abuses such as slave trade, the armed traffic, and upper liquor traffic; number four, equal opportunities for trade and commerce and of others members of League. Condition of League: the onset of Second World War in 1939 showed that the League had failed its primary purpose. It was inactive until its abolition. The League lasted for 26 years. The United Nations replaced
I'm
several
here to
agencies.
talk about success and failure of League of Nations. The League of Nations was an international organization created 1919 by the American President Woodrow Wilson as a part of his 14 points. The League meant to maintain universal peace and resolve international disputes between nations to avoid a repeat of the First World War. The League of Nations had some success in maintaining universal peace. However, there are numerous failures as well. Some of the success include Atlantic Island crisis and Upper Sicily incident. Some of the failure of League of Nations include the event that took place in Manchuria. The success of League of Nations mostly involved disputes between smaller nations. In the year of 1921, the League settled one of the first disputes since its formation. The Atlantic Islands are located between Sweden and Finland. The islands were controlled by Finland, but the majority of the population was Swedish and they wanted to be controlled by Sweden. The two nations could not come to a decision as to who should control the island, and both of them were threatening to fight for them. In 1921, they appealed to League. The League decided that the Atlantic Island should remain under Finnish control, but it should be a demilitarized zone. Sweden accepted the League decision, and consequently peace was maintained and the war was. The League of Nations failed to bring about disarmament and also solve several problems. This failure include Vilnius 1920, Russo-Polish War 1920-1921, Greece versus Turkey 1920-21, Memel 1923, the occupation of Ruhr 1923, Corfu Incident 1923. The League often failed to carry the self-determination policy out.
Now, I'll go with achievements of the League of Nations. First one, Atlantic Islands. These islands lie between Sweden and Finland. Both Finland and Ireland once belonged to Sweden. On the ownership of Atlantic Island, there came a dispute between Sweden and Finland in 1920. A special commission of the League investigated the case and settled the dispute in favor of Finland. Number 2, Corfu Incident. In August 1923, an Italian general and 2 officers were murdered on Greek soil. The Italians demanded apologies and reparations for the crime. Greece refuses to accept the demands of Italy. Hence, Italy occupied the island of Corfu. In this dispute, Britain and France mediated and brought about a compromise between Italy and Greece. Number 3, dispute between Greeks and Bulgaria. There was a border dispute between Greeks and Bulgaria. In 1925, a Greek army commander was murdered. The Greek army marched into Bulgaria. The League Council requested Britain and France to investigate this affair. The Greek forces were withdrawn and Greece was asked to pay compensation to Bulgaria for violation of her territory on a scale to be fixed by League Commission. Number 4. Non-political work. The League did also a lot of non-political work. A salvary convention met in Geneva in 1925. In 1932, it was decided to set up a permanent Salvary Commission. The Financial Commission was responsible for the issue and supervision of various League loans for Austria, Hungary, Greece, etc.
About the legacy of the League of Nations. A legacy is a factual and historical account of something that has had a lasting impact on the present world. We all know that the League of Nations failed miserably to achieve its intended goal, that is to prevent another world war from happening. However, the League of Nations has left the biggest legacy to be cherished even at the present moment. Number 1. The League of Nations has proved to be milestones in the development of the international community, whereby it shaped the central features of international law today. It managed to build a new road towards expanding the law across the globe in following ways. Firstly, it strengthened the concept of collective security. Secondly, it gives a voice to the smaller nations like our country Bhutan. And lastly, it helped to raise awareness to problems like epidemics, slavery, child labor, colonial tyranny, refugee crisis, and general working conditions through its numerous commissions and committees. Number 2. The League of Nations brought together experts who built critical international organizations still at work today. As an unprecedented hub for international collaboration and the dissemination of the knowledge, the League of Nations brought experts together to address transnational problems in health, economics, and human rights, keeping the web of governance networks and institutional progeny in its wake. Many of today's international organizations charged with important missions like to control the spread of diseases, we have the World Health Organizations, and to stabilize the world currencies, we have international monetary funds, and then to protect workers' rights, we have the international labor organizations, and we have many more other organizations, and all those organizations have roots in the League of Nations system.